Today I want to talk about 10 things that I absolutely love for working on my bikes and things that I put on my bike that I don't think you can really beat. Let's get into it.
Some of you old timers on the channel may be wondering why I'm doing a video that seems like other videos I've done in the past. Well, the answer is there's new people coming on the channel all the time and new people getting into dirt bikes. I can tell because of my email inbox. So I want to bring some of that stuff closer to the top for them so it's not buried under 400 or 800 videos. So if you're an old guard, just bear with me here. If you're new, this video is for you because I love these things. Please use the links down in the video description to buy this stuff. That's the only reason that you're seeing this content right now is those links for Rocky Mountain ATV. Okay, let's go to the video.
Actually 11 things here that I absolutely love, and this is in no particular order, but these are things that I love to have in my shop when I'm working on bikes. And also some of the things that I install on bikes and why. And I think these are all kind of musts. Now, some of these things are expensive and some of these things are not, but I'll get to that. First thing, this Motion Pro digital tire gauge. They make an analog version of this, which I actually haven't tried, but I love this sucker. This is my second one. I broke one just here recently and then upgraded this. You'll notice a bunch of these things up here are from Motion Pro. I was just looking around my shop and I'm like, I love some of this stuff. This thing is great because you can do really precise, if I can get this to really precise measurements down to like the 10th of a PSI. And I've tested these with other tire gauges, and I do think this thing is very, very accurate. I have one also that I use in my shop here from Tusk. This is the, oh my gosh. This is the one that I use from Tusk. This is the analog one, and this one is pretty good for in-shop stuff. But I prefer this one for out on the trail or when I'm at the track with my sons over this Tusk one. The Tusk ones are quite a bit cheaper. This is very expensive, but they're awesome. Okay, next thing that I use a ton of is contact cleaner. Now, Maxima makes one that we've all been using for years. I buy this stuff like every time I make an order for Rocky Mountain ATV. By the way, please use my links for Rocky Mountain ATV. Most of the stuff you can buy there. There may be one or two things. There might be, I think actually you can buy all this stuff on Rocky Mountain ATV. But I buy this stuff a ton and use my links. It doesn't cost you anything. Tusk, which is also Rocky Mountain ATV brand, they have their own version of this now, this Tusk contact cleaner. They're both very, very good. This one's a little bit cheaper. I haven't really noticed any difference in the two, but it just helps to clean everything. Like when I'm getting bikes clean and when I'm trying to clean out grease off things and whatever, I use that contact cleaner. If you're worried about something and you want something a little bit less harsh, this Maxima suspension clean, which is for doing suspension, this is a little less solvent in it, I guess you could say. That's another thing. I don't use that as much. Oh my gosh. Here's another one that we use all the time. The SE1 high gloss, and Rocky Mountain ATV, oh, it has another one. Rocky Mountain ATV has another version of that in their Tusk thing, if you can see that. But those are like to make your bike, you know, new bike in a can, but I digress. Now I'm adding way too many things. Next thing is levers. I've tried a lot of different levers. I've tried basically every lever I can over the years. And I just go back to the simplest thing is the best thing, which is on Brembo brakes. I don't think anything is better than the stock brake levers. So you'll notice brake and clutch levers. You'll notice that there's this little thing right here, these little notches. What that's for is that's so that that's where the thing will break. And you'll notice I've got one right here that did break right there. As long as your levers aren't too tight, and especially if you put Teflon tape right under the perches, I've never broken them more than just that one little piece off the end. They're designed that way. And I just haven't found anything. Right now, there's a Heimdall lever, one finger lever on this bike, which I just gave away. And it's great, but all the floppy levers and the one, there's something about simplicity, and I haven't found anything I like better than the stock shape and simplicity of the stock Brembo levers. And that kind of goes the same thing with the Nissan levers. As long as they have a little stress point right here, I don't think you can beat that. I honestly don't. Moving on, hour meters. If you have a KTM or a Husky or a gas, it probably has an hour meter on it from the factory. But if your bike doesn't have an hour meter, please put one of these on it. These aren't expensive. This is a Works Connection hour meter. You just tie this around your spark plug wire, or like wrap this around the spark plug wire and then stick it on the bike somewhere. And then you can track all your maintenance, your oil change intervals, your sprocket intervals, your tire intervals. You'll know everything based off the hour meter, and that's huge. I hesitate to tell you guys this because I don't want them to go out of stock, but I like lock-on grips, and I like these open-ended grips right here, okay? So ODI makes these lock-on grips. I try to put lock-on grips on everything because I just absolutely love them. But I also like to have bar ends on my bikes to save these and make them last a little bit longer. But you can punch these things out. Like if you just buy an open-ended grip, you can use, they sell punches to punch them out, but it's kind of a pain. And this is the cleanest looking bar end or like handle grip end you're gonna get with this open end lock-on grips. So I love those. Another thing I love, Motion Pro Funnel right here. I've got an extra one because I feel like for a while, for a while they weren't making them. And I had this, and I've used this so much. I love it because it has all the measurements right here where you can see exactly how much oil you're putting in. So you just close off your valve like this, put in say 800 milliliters of oil, and then turn the valve on and drain it straight into your bike for gear oil changes, engine oil changes. You know, I love that. I love the precision of this. I love that it's no mess. I love that this thing it has a pivot thing, a ball pivot on the bottom here. So this thing, literally my favorite funnel ever, and I hope Motion Pro never stops making it. I don't know why there's so much. You would think I'm sponsored by Motion Pro. I've never talked to those guys. I've never had a dime from them. But this is the Motion Pro. I think they call it like the Pro Spinner T-handle. It's a quarter drive handle. I almost always have just an 8mm socket on this because you're using 8s all the time on bikes. But it's obviously you could put anything you want. And if I could just have one T-handle ever, it would be this one. And then occasionally I'll, maybe put some lubrication right down in there to get that to spin more, but it's just so easy to spin bolts on and off. If that's not my favorite tool, I don't know what is. I've got other T-handles, but that is my absolute 100% favorite tool. Moving on to some protection parts. I like here in the Rocky Mountains, I feel like running a rear disc guard is kind of mandatory because if you hit your rear disc, it's going to put a little bit of wobble in it, and then your rear brake is basically worthless because it will just push the brakes out, and you'll never have good brakes after that. So I like to run rear disc guards, and while there are some really good ones out there, Enduro Engineering, Bulletproof Designs, those are expensive. This one by Tusk isn't as beefy, but it does have a replaceable shark fin down here, and these are significantly cheaper than those other ones, Enduro Engineering and the Bulletproof Designs ones. And I'm not saying that this will take as much abuse. I'm not. But for the amount of abuse that this can take, and then the fact that you can put a new one of these on, and the fact that it's significantly cheaper. This is so much cheaper than the other ones. I think this is a better bang for the buck for most of us out there because it's gonna take a big hit. You go on a ride and you take a massive, massive hit or a ton of massive hits, this is still going to protect your rear disc. And then if you think it's damaged too much, you just replace it. And you can buy a bunch of these for that. You can buy at least 2 of these, I think. I haven't looked, but I'll put it up on screen right now. I think you can buy like 2 of these for that Bulletproof Designs one. So the Bulletproof Designs and the Enduro Engineering ones, they're probably a little bit beefier than this. But how much do you really need? And that's the question. Another thing I like to run on all my bikes are fork shoes. So these are Acerbis fork shoes right here. They're relatively inexpensive, and you put these on the bottom of your forks, and that way you can just kind of run your forks into just about anything, and this will take the brunt of the impact down there. So I really like to use these guys on all my bikes if I can. Motion Pro Bead Buddy. So when you're doing your tires, and I strongly recommend that you do your own tires at home, you want to have one of these things. Like everybody knows about tire spoons, but not everyone knows about this Bead Buddy. This just helps to keep the bead down when you're putting your tires on. So that's something that is kind of worth its weight in gold. There are different versions of this. I think Rocky Mountain even has a Tusk version of this. I don't care what you get, but just get one. So that's a really cool product. And then here's my bonus one. And you guys might laugh at this, but it's the Motion Pro Pro-Fill Air Chuck. This thing right here. So I debated on buying this for a long time because it's pretty dang expensive. And then the reason why it's red, I just had some of these like adapters. But I absolutely love this thing because when I'm here in the shop, it's got this pivot head. So it's always hard to get into different bikes and different wheels, but this can pivot so I can come in here like this and then pull. Like if this is my fitting, I can pull onto the fitting, or I can turn it around and push onto the fitting. You can do it at any angle because this has got a pivot head. So this was, it says pivot right here, boom. If you can see that, I don't know if it's focused. This was kind of expensive, and I debated on whether or not to buy this, and it took me a long time. And I bought it a couple months ago, and honestly, I wish I would have just bought it before. And I'm thinking about buying another one for my other air hose for in the garage or whatever. But that's a pretty cool tool. Also by Motion Pro. Literally, I don't know how it worked out. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things of Motion Pro out of my 10. I think they're a pretty dang cool company. I love the tools that they make, and it just so happened that I was walking around. I'm like, well, these are things that I absolutely love. So but again, like if you're only ever gonna buy one Motion Pro thing, buy this spinner T-handle. Gosh, I love that thing. That's amazing. So yeah, tell me what you guys think in the comments, or if you have questions, reach out to me. It's Kyle@dirtbikechannel.com. If you want to have a call with me, there's a scheduling page on my website. And then please use the links to Rocky Mountain ATV to buy all this stuff. I'll have all the links in the video description and a general link. When you click on that link, you can buy anything they sell at Rocky Mountain ATV, and it gives a kickback to me, and that's the only reason we're still having this conversation, is because of that affiliate link with Rocky Mountain ATV. It's the only thing that is keeping the lights on right now. The dirt bike sweepstakes don't keep the lights on anymore, and so this bike is going away. We just had the call earlier this week, and then it's going to be shipped because it's got to go to West Virginia. Alex won this bike. It's got to go to West Virginia. I'm going to use Moto shippers to ship that, but those guys are like hauling all the bikes for Sturgis right now, that big street bike rally. And so they're going to pick this bike up somewhere in August, and then it's going to go to Alex. I don't even have another motorcycle. My boys have bikes, but I don't have a bike. So I got to try to figure that out. And then, yeah, I don't have a sweepstakes planned for September like I normally would, because the last two just didn't cut the mustard. But those Rocky Mountain ATV links, it's the only reason the lights are still on here. I'm looking for other revenue streams and maybe start another business. Well, I am going to start another business and just see how that works. I'm going to launch that in August. That is not Dirt Bike Channel related, and see if I can still remain self-employed. It's harder than you might think. So, but I appreciate all your support. And if you're still watching by the end of this video, as I've been blabbing, I just want to say thank you. There have been a couple of people, especially after that last giveaway video that I did, where I was pretty freaking emotional because I'm like, this might be the last one that I ever do. And there was a few people that reached out over email, and gosh, that was touching. But yeah, so here's some things I absolutely love, and I've used a lot of these products for many, many years, 15 years or so, and this is probably the oldest thing on the table, I think. But yeah, buy this stuff, use it, use my links to get it, and until next time, leave a single track. Thanks.